For me, like when I am, advocating for Bitcoin, whether that is talking to like lawmakers or their staffs, talking to like friends, whatever, like my goal is to reduce the amount of requisite things that you have to agree with to get to Bitcoin is good. Because that's all I care about getting people to, is to recognize that Bitcoin is good. And yeah, I mean, it just is stupid from like a rhetorical perspective to think that the exact same thing that made you passionate is what's going to make every other person passionate. But everyone is passionate about something, right? And so it's just a matter of relating Bitcoin to that thing. Like before I was working in Bitcoin full time, like a huge facet of my life was working in organizing around like shutting down private prison construction. And yeah, when I moved and started working in Bitcoin, a lot of my friends, these are very far left people by and large, and all my friends were just like, what are you doing? Why do you like Bitcoin? And it's like, I hadn't talked to them about Bitcoin before. And so, I kind of realized like, what's the easiest way I can explain this to you? And I'm like, okay, have you heard of algorithmic policing?
Nope, but tell me.
So algorithmic policing is a term that's used to describe the usage of software and algorithms to allocate police resources. So we got to this point where cops couldn't just say like, oh yeah, we're going to just go police all of the black neighborhoods and we're going to leave the white ones alone. They wanted something that was objective and concrete. And so we saw the rise of algorithms that would basically predict crime. And so what do? Well, they use credit score. And so credit score, they're saying, we're not over policing black neighborhoods. We're using objective metrics like credit score to determine where crime is most likely. But that's just a data point that codes for like race. And so when I'm talking to criminal justice like organizers and advocates who are intimately familiar with this, the way that I explain Bitcoin to them is, do you want the government to have a centralized repository of all financial transactions, right? Like what happens when there are goods and services that black Americans buy at a higher rate than white Americans? Well, now, your CBDC is just going to lead to more algorithmic policing. And so starting off this conversation with them, I didn't get into the money printer. I didn't get into fiat currency. I didn't get into the gold standard. I just took it straight to CBDCs are coming. They have massive implications for our privacy. They're going to be really, really bad for the most like vulnerable Americans. And we need Bitcoin to fix it. Same thing with the stuff in Canada, right? Like I was texting some of my friends from the sort of like anti-prison work. And I'm like, look, guys, are you telling me that you can't realistically see a scenario where Donald Trump gets elected and says that BLM is a terrorist group and starts tracking down everyone who donated? Like I tweeted this the other day. It didn't get much engagement. But I said, if Bitcoin were around during the Red Scare, the right would hate it and the left would have loved it. Like cancel culture isn't anything new. We've been canceling each other for a very long time. And it wasn't that long ago that if you were a socialist or a communist, that was a perfectly acceptable political take, like back in the 30s. And then you see in the 50s and 60s where socialists are being like beaten, jailed, stalked, harassed. We canceled the left. And so, yeah, that's sort of where I take it when I'm trying to persuade some of these people is like, you can never control who is going to be in the in group. You can never control whether or not your ideas will be the dominant and protected ones. And so you have to kind of choose, like, do you want to sort of put your sail up and hope the wind blows in the right direction? Or do you want to make sure that everyone has the right to transact, that everyone has the right to send information, et cetera, et cetera? Because, and I think that example really hit home with a lot of people. It's like, oh shit, yeah, I could see Donald Trump calling BLM a terrorist. He basically did, but you know, formally designating BLM as a terrorist group and persecuting. I mean, if that happened, I think the left would stop hating Bitcoin because they'd like pretty much immediately get it.